So here we are, Monday, the 19th of December, 2022, in one of the coolest spots I've ever been. I'm just below Westport, Union Beach, and it's scenically just gorgeous. California, the Pacific, on the calmest seas, although we got some storm coming back in tonight, tomorrow. That's okay. Boy, California needs the water badly. And we need solutions badly. Water's a solution, right? The solution, frankly. Yeah, water is the solution that comprises 68% of us. So we are water with some other parts. And being water, I'm kind of inclined to the water. I grew up in San Diego next to the water. I love water. I've had cramping issues. I found out that was because I was dehydrated. Not enough water. I fainted once when I gave blood. I found out that was because I was dehydrated. Not enough water. So water's a thing. It has become a thing for me. Who knew? And it became a big thing for me when I went to college to do some editing, and I met Ling. Ling told me about water, and I was freaked out, frankly, by kind of that story. And Ling had plenty of other things to say, including she came out of Hunter College in New York that rang a bell for me, and all sorts of things. Just kind of been trippy since 2015 when me and water first met up as an issue. And, more recently, when I figured out what the water solution could be, at least for the short term, and realized what the water issues are if we don't fix what seems to be the runaway reality at this point, uh, then, I became solutionary in this thing. And we need to farm our own fresh water. The humans do, because nobody does water like nature, and we have screwed it up because we are all nobodies, uh, and nobody has kind of messed so much with nature's water cycles at this point that the water's not getting the places it needs, and there's a war between the humans in the city and the people growing the food, as if those two things are separate issues. I'm just like thinking that they're not, and we need the solution that works for everybody, and more than all, we need the solution that works for nature. We are human beings who have now been on this continent for a grand total of tens of thousands of years. And for the first uh, uh, 10,000 years, it was pretty cool, well nurtured, and sustainable reality, and the native populations that knew how to hang. And it was all beautiful. Except where things got big a couple of times now, when that did happen. They built their pyramids in Mexico, the Aztecs, and in Peru, the Inca nations grew huge, and in ecological collapse, they grew small, became, got left behind because it wasn't sustainable in the now then. we're approaching that if we do not create our own fresh water. In water farms off the coasts of cities with all the free energy. We got tidal, wind, solar, they got energy up the yang and they got fresh water as soon as they put the two together uh, with a little electrolysis or whatever. They'll figure it out, but they got to choose to take on the task so that the water that we're diverting from Northern California aquifers is no longer diverted, for instance, in this particular case, and in similar cases all over the planet. Letting nature get back to nature and letting the water do what the water is supposed to do according to the planet. And, you know, that's been the message that I've kind of adopted. We can do this. We have to do this. It seems like we have to do this now. I haven't heard anybody else saying it. So it became my thing. And that's where I've been. And so being back here at the water makes some sense on that level. But it doesn't really speak for Hanging Chad. And Hanging Chad is a trip. The man is a trip. Well, Hanging Chad is going to take a little uh, human heart affection. He's got some real issues, but don't we all? And he's got some fascinating insights. Some of us do, some of us don't. We'll see, and you'll see. I've just met Chad, and he is a trip geologist at heart who's been collecting rocks and sees diamonds everywhere and can explain it. There's a through line, and the through line is fascinating. And I think you'll like Chad. And all I can say is he's endeared himself to me, and he came to me. I didn't ask for this, but I let it happen. And he came to me in order to offer food. Probably, hopefully, maybe get a few bucks for gas. And I gave him a couple bucks for gas. That's all I had. And he actually brought back some food. I said, no, you don't need this. I don't need that. I'm, thank you. You know, it's, this is not that. But he saw the need, and so he filled it. Him and three dogs eating off the ham. And he's came with both stories about the rocks, and anybody who knows me long time knows I got rocks on the brain and rocks in my head, and there's a difference between the two, and there's not. It's all about the rocks. I skipped, yeah, and then in the midst of it, I meet this woman who says, and her husband, maybe, I don't know, in a trailer just up there. And she points at me and she says, "You're a psychic, just like me." And proceeded to tell me that I have a son that I have to do some healing with. And the letter G. Her husband's name is Mike, and her son's name is Mike. And Mike seems like just a regular Joe, and she just pulled that one on me. I think she was soused. But I'm not completely sure she ain't psychic. Like me. Woof. Time to smoke something, don't you think?